All right, guys, so it is here. Finally all put together, the FunWheel. So everything on this is FunWheel except for the front and back foot pads, which are Land Surf Platy Sense. It's got the posi front, even though you could do that in the vest cap anyways. And I got bang bumpers on here. So I went with black and blue. Other than that, everything on here is from Fungineers. So we got the red Thunder rails, got the Thunder tire here, the front box, which you can't see all that great, but you can kind of catch it right in there, is the red CNC'd box. Again, it's their battery pack, their front controller. I got their charger. So this thing has probably just become my favorite wheel. And I'll talk a little bit why, but just wanted to give initial impressions here. So that's showing the battery status right on the front light bar there. There is a status bar under here. Unfortunately with these pads it's blocked out. I may talk to Land Surf and see if I'd be able to cut a little notch out of these foot pads without interfering with the foot pad sensors, so that I can actually see the status indicator underneath there. But it's awesome. Pretty straightforward setup. If you follow their instructions, there is an update which they supply on their website with a .bin file. And then what's cool is once you get everything set up with the IMU and all that, they have an XML file, which gives you a whole bunch of settings for the float configuration right out the gate, which helps you then with your float config settings. Now, they're not all right, but one of the best parts is how it set up the lights automatically. So the status bar indicator, which you can't see underneath, is all set up to show you different statuses such as foot pad sensors, battery level, etc. Just like with the lights here now showing green with the battery indicator for how much battery I have left. Just automatically does that with their XML file, I believe again is what it's called. So yeah, let's see, I ended up getting also some Tech Rails titanium screws. One issue I did run into, and I don't think it's an issue at all with any of the Fungineers products, but with the compatibility with the Land Surf and bang bumpers is, there's no way I'm going to be able to show you, but this screw is the one that goes through the rail and into the bumper. So it's not lining up. And the screws that came with the Land Surf seem a little bit too short. So I got one screw in the back and one in the front, one in the back that I just can't get in there. Some of the titanium screws I had, probably because of how these pads are upswept like they are, wouldn't fit. So the front ones had to be just the plain metal ones. But yeah, the only other thing I threw on here, I had a buddy, it might be hard to see. Let's see. See this blue little plate in there? That, if you look on Mo's video on the setup here, he has those little plates there. I don't think they're really required, but it does keep some extra dirt, debris from flying up at the connectors there on the front. So, I mean, it helps. It can't hurt. I had a friend of mine print those up on his 3D printer for me. But the tire itself here, I actually really like the tire. It's a little bit square, but as you're going at high speeds, it locks you in. Now, when you're trying to curve a little bit, because it's square, and I think eventually these sidewalls will soften up a little the more miles I put on it. It's a little I don't know what the word I want to say is, but you got to ride that edge a little bit harder because it doesn't want to bend in there. But it's still super carvy. One thing I'll say is I understand now. I've never ridden a FunWheel XR, and I understand why people love that platform and why they, you know, turn them into Vesks and keep with them, because this profile is perfect. You know, I love the ADV Cannon Core and all that, but it's such a heavy board. Although it's pretty nimble for being such a big board, but something about this, just the way it rides, I am super comfortable right off the start with it. And yeah, I mean, if I could only have one board, it would probably be this one right here. The motor's super powerful. You know, I'm not pushing it too too hard on my first ride here, but I believe I got up to 21.3 miles. Controller speed, GPS speed according to float control was a little less than that. It was like 20.8, and I didn't even feel remotely like I was going that fast. And it was locked in perfect. Went up some steep hills, super powerful. Charges pretty fast. Now, compared to, let's say, the FunWheel ADV, the battery pack in that is going to be way better when it comes to range and probably power than what this comes with. I'm trying to think. Don't crucify me if I got this wrong, but I think this comes with the P28A moly cell, and the FunWheel comes with a P45. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this because off the top of my head I don't remember, so I could be way off. Either which way, they have a battery cell that I do believe it holds more capacity than what these ones do. And I'm already seeing it on the distance that I traveled on with this board. So you're definitely going to see more range, but I still think I'll have to do a full test, but I think I'll easily get 20-25 miles on this battery configuration here. And yeah, initial impression is I love these things. The rails are nice, they're super comfortable in conjunction with the Lancer foot pads. You're locked in. It is so comfortable. It's such a great ride. The power's there. It's pretty damn easy to set up. Like I said, they offer you with that XML file just initial settings that once you then hook up float controller, you're going to get a whole bunch of warnings that tell you, you know, what you need to fix, and they're all relatively easy fixes. Now on Mo's video, you'll see he changes one thing after the XML file, because I can't remember what the setting was, but when I first got on this thing, it would go and dip, go back and dip. It just kind of teeter-tottered back and forth until then I changed whatever value it was. So watch his video to the end. I can't remember what exactly that value was, but it is important, or you may have some issues with your wheel when you first step on it. Made me a little bit nervous, but you know, once I continued watching his video, I found the fix, and that was it. So all right guys, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.